Okay, so this is a story that just will not go away. A massive new drop of documents from the Jeffrey Epstein investigation has just hit, and, it's creating a ton of confusion, sparking outrage, and raising some incredibly serious questions all over again. Let's get right into it.
So let's just rip the Band-Aid off and start with the most shocking question to come out of these files, the one you've probably seen blowing up all over social media. It is a truly wild, almost unbelievable accusation, but is it proven?
Make no mistake, this entire new batch of documents has just detonated across the globe. It feels like a blinding, disorienting flashback, and honestly, it's become completely impossible to ignore.
And that's exactly why we're here. We're going to cut through all the noise and get to the heart of it. What do these files actually say? What's the real story behind them? And what, if anything, do they really prove?
The most explosive claims, like the ones against the former president, have spread like wildfire online. And that's why it's so crucial to look at not just the claim itself, but where it came from and what the official response has been.
The White House came out swinging on this one. Their response has been totally clear. Officials shot the claims down as, and I'm quoting here, unfounded, false, and untrue, and sensationalist. They basically said that if there was anything credible to it, it would have come out a long time ago.
Which kind of leads you to wonder, why now? Why is all of this dropping right now? Well, this wasn't some random leak. Turns out there's a very specific legal reason for this massive data dump.
And here it is, the Epstein Files Transparency Act. This is a law that was signed back in November of 2025, and it literally forced the Department of Justice to publish its investigative files on both Epstein and his accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell.
Now, to get a sense of the challenge here, you have to understand the scale we're talking about. The DOJ released millions of additional pages, which brings the grand total to nearly 3.5 million pages of material.
And it's not just paper, not by a long shot. The release also includes 2,000 different videos.
And on top of all that, 180,000 images. This is just a mountain of data, which is why the department is releasing it in stages. I mean, the sheer size of it is a huge challenge for everyone trying to sort through it.
And this, right here, leads us to the central problem with this whole release. It creates what you could call a paradox of transparency. Because this archive, it's not some neat little list of who's guilty and who's innocent. No, it's much messier than that.
So here's the absolute key to understanding all this. On one hand, these files have real, hard evidence of horrible crimes. We're talking financial records, proof of who was where, when. But on the other hand, they're also filled with what you might call investigative debris. Unproven claims, hearsay, rough drafts of documents, just plain old rumors. And both of these things exist right next to each other.
And this quote just nails that tension perfectly. The Department of Justice itself has warned that some of the claims in this material are, in their own words, untrue and sensationalist. So when the government just dumps everything out there, it's left to us, the public, to try and sort fact from fiction and to separate the truth from Epstein's own twisted stories.
All right, so let's see how this whole paradox plays out with some of the familiar, powerful names that have popped up again in these documents, kicking off a whole new firestorm.
We've already touched on the claims involving Donald Trump, but the files also mention, sometimes in very serious ways, sometimes just in passing, figures like Bill Gates, Prince Andrew, and the British politician Lord Peter Mandelson.
Okay, so for Bill Gates, there are these draft emails from Epstein that contain some pretty wild claims. A spokesperson for Gates has called them absolutely absurd and completely false, and suggested it was just Epstein scheming. Prince Andrew's game comes up again, which just reinforces that public image of elite impunity. And over in Britain, documents showing financial payments connected to Lord Mandelson actually led to his resignation from the Labour Party. It's become a true transatlantic scandal.
But really, this isn't just about individual scandals. The thing that makes the Epstein saga so horrifying, the reason it sticks with us, is because of the bigger, much more disturbing questions it raises about power itself.
I mean, this is the question, right? This is the one that just gnaws at you and explains why this case will not fade away. It's not just about one monster, it's about the system that let him operate at the very highest levels of our society. And that's why these files are so powerful. Because even when you can't prove direct wrongdoing, what the documents do show is this disturbing closeness between the most powerful people in the world and this immense dark corruption. The association itself, that becomes its own kind of revelation. It suggests we're living in a world where power is often right next door to pure rot.
So, where does that leave us? This Transparency Act might have forced the vault open, but just releasing the documents, that's not accountability. The survivors are still waiting, the public is still angry, and Epstein's shadow is still hanging over everything.
And this is why the world can't stop reading. It's not because people love scandal. It's because buried inside these millions of pages are the unresolved, haunting questions of our time. Who knew what was happening? Who let this go on for so long? Who got away with it? And maybe the most important question of all, why?